What if you can get stronger every week without ever burning out? This is what Louis Simmons set out to do with the Conjugate Method at the West Side Barbell. Louis Simmons is one of the most legendary powerlifting coaches in the world. He created West Side Barbell, which is a gym that's also known as the strongest gym in the world. So what the Conjugate Method is trying to counter is that of periodization that is linear in your training, sometimes causing folks to overtrain or peak only several times in a year, and sometimes really not even see gains depending on that experience. One way to think about the Conjugate Method is that it works on a rotating system, particularly of about 3 weeks, where you have 4 days of training and you're working on fundamental movements such as the back squat, deadlift, the bench press, as well as the overhead press. And the rotation of it happens about every 3 weeks, where within that time frame you have 2 days where you're working 1 day upper body, 1 day lower body, another day upper body, another day lower body, and you're working them differently. One is going to be a max effort upper body, one is going to be a max effort lower body, the others will be a dynamic upper body and then a dynamic lower body. And those are going to be constantly changing over that time frame. The idea behind all that is that you constantly are changing this rotation, constantly changing intensity, and that you never want your body to adapt. So on the max effort heavy days, you're looking for something that is going to be maybe well into the 90 percentile and above of what you can lift. But on the dynamic days, you're going to be somewhere around 50 to 70% and looking for explosiveness. And even if they're a similar movement, such as a deadlift, the idea behind a max effort day, you're going to be moving aggressive yet slow but heavy. And then on a dynamic day, you're going to be moving aggressive yet explosive and lighter, again 50 to 70%. And these two intensities are going to you adapt to both being able to pick up heavy and swiftly. To paint a better picture, think about this example where if you have a 4-day training week, day one you may do a max effort lower body where it's deadlift or a squat, and you're looking for somewhere between a 1 to 3 rep max heaviness. On your second day of training, you can think of this as a max effort upper body where you may have a 1 to 3 rep of a bench press or a overhead press, and that too is going to be taxing. On your third day, you're going to have a dynamic lower body. Again, it could be deadlift, it could be squatting, and here you're going to be dropping down to 50 to 70%, and this is going to be all about explosiveness in that intensity. The same happens with the upper body. If it's a bench press, you're dropping down to 50 to 70%, and you're looking for explosiveness from the bottom. Another cool element to this is that you're going to add a variation that can consist of accommodated resistance. What accommodated resistance does, it allows you to move from a lighter load to a heavier load within 1 rep, allowing yourself to adapt to the sticking point, past the sticking point of working weight, such as at 70% of a bench press or that of the deadlift or the squat. It's really fun actually. So the reason why this works, and Louis Simmons had the strongest people in the gym, or the strongest gym on the world, is because it counters plateauing in your training. It also includes having variations of movements that are, even though they're fundamental, they're variations of them. Sumo deadlift versus the conventional deadlift versus the Romanian deadlift, each of which can be challenged not only by the same load or similar loads, they each can be challenged and have weak points that can be worked on within this system. And so the idea behind keeping it constantly varied is that you're able to fatigue for 3 weeks or so into that one style or a piece of equipment and then switch it, right? The piece of equipment part is big in the Conjugate Method in that you want to find mastery behind a trap bar versus a regular barbell or a safety bar, and within the movement itself. So you're trying to conquer any weaknesses that you find in your squat, in your deadlift, in your press or bench press by keeping it constantly varied and identifying those weak points within the lifts. This will give you a more well-rounded version to your fitness and keep you strong continuously year-round. A great takeaway from this is to know that the Conjugate Method isn't just for elite athletes. This is meant for folks to be able to work on it year-round. So whether you have a new student or someone who have intermediate experience in their fitness, they can adapt, or at least try to adapt to the Conjugate Method, and that they're keeping it constantly varied and exposing themselves to new methods of training and switching it up so that they never hit a plateau, so that they're always gaining, they're always learning. And even if in a year from now they repeat something that they did a year previous, they're going to see some type of result indirectly from not even practicing that very thing that they started in the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. See you soon. And remember, get strong.